Hey everybody, it's Lashes Lane, and this is the Sober Showgirl podcast. I am so excited to be back for another episode, and this week we are talking about something that was suggested through Instagram. So, really excited to get into today's topic. Before we get into it, I just wanted to say that I am so thankful for all of you guys, and I'm really happy that you're here. My last episode was the best performing episode, and what that means to me is that it reached more people that needed to hear it, and that means a lot to me. If you reached out and you shared your story with me, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for being on this journey with me. We are all here together, and I am glad that I made you feel less alone. That's what we're talking about today, navigating sobriety alone. And if you are here with me today, I just want to say that you are not alone. We are in this together, and it might feel kind of scary. It might feel like you're all alone sometimes, but there is a community out there that you haven't met yet. And it's an amazing community of sober people. You might just not know them yet, or they might live across the globe, but the internet and podcasts, they're a great way to connect with other sober people, and I'm really happy you're here. So let's get into today's topic, and let's chat about it, guys. Let's chat about it. So when I first got sober, I was like the first person in my friend group to get sober, which is kind of crazy to think about because now pretty much my whole crew is sober, which is amazing, but I was the first one to kick it off, and now everyone's on the sober train, which is it's awesome. I got really lucky. I got really lucky, but those first couple of months where I was the only sober one, it was lonely and it was hard to navigate. And people did put pressure on me to drink because they were used to the person that I used to be. I used to be the drinker. I used to be the person at the parties getting crazy. I used to be the person with 2 bottles of champagne on me when I walked through the door. And I wasn't that person anymore. I wasn't the person that people knew. And they didn't know who I was becoming, and they didn't know who I was without alcohol. And I was discovering that person too. So that is just really intimidating, right? I really had to look within myself and find strength. I listened to a lot of different podcasts. The Real Sisters of Sobriety is my personal favorite because I just really like the vibe. I really like the cute girl energy that they bring, and I like that it's two sisters discussing sobriety. I think that's so cool. I listened to a lot of podcasts like that. I joined a lot of Facebook groups. I followed a lot of Instagram profiles, and I was really trying to find strength in an online community because I didn't want to go to AA. I didn't want to go to meetings like that. I didn't want to go out anywhere in public and see people face to face. That seemed really intimidating to me. And we were still kind of in like the pandemic. It was a little panini moment still. So going out was still kind of like, ooh, you know? And it just seemed really extra intimidating. So I felt kind of alone. I had some friends that I didn't really see a lot that didn't drink. And my sister, she doesn't drink and didn't drink back then, but she was kind of in like deep quarantine because she was pregnant at that time. So like she wasn't really like leaving her house. So like who were my sober buddies? I didn't really have any. So I really leaned heavily on the internet. My cat is meowing at the door. Hold on. Okay, where was I? I did just have to step away to let in Bruce, one of my cats. He was meowing at the door, so I don't know if the microphone picked it up. I have it on like mute outside noise mode, so I'm not really sure if you could hear Bruce. You might see him pop into frame if you're watching the video version of this podcast, so be ready for that. It's one of the perks of watching the video is because you might see one of four or four of four kooky cats in the background. You're never alone when you got cats, let me tell you that. And they don't drink alcohol, so those were my sober buddies, picking back where we left off. So basically, when I was new to sobriety, I did feel kind of alone because I was kind of alone. So I really found comfort on the internet and on apps and in Facebook groups, and that's what helped me. I didn't do like a virtual AA or anything. I just really looked on Facebook groups and Instagram and TikTok. That's what helped me. I know AA is great for some people. For me, that's not the path that I took. If that sounds like it's calling to you, I say do it. It works for a lot. I know a lot of people who have great success stories with AA. So if that's the path that you want to take, go for it. And they do have virtual ones. So if you don't want to meet up in person, that works too. Whatever works for you. If it's virtual, if it's in person, I just say get on the internet, do research, and find some people to connect with, because it can get lonely if you're the only person. I got really lucky, and after like 2 months of me being sober, everyone slowly started to become sober. So my whole circle is pretty much sober now, or they're very, very, very occasional drinkers, or they just don't drink around me because they know how to have fun in other ways. So I got really lucky, but that's not how it is for everybody. And your circle's out there, your new circle's out there. You just have to look for them. And sometimes those people that you meet at first are people who live across the globe, and you connect with them on the internet. But it's great to have people, no matter where they live, that you can reach out and connect with. Even if it's just someone you don't really know personally and you are listening to their podcast, because that's what I did. And hey, that's what you're doing right now. So thanks for being here. We are in this together. So that is my story with feeling alone. And I know that my story has a very great ending. Not a lot of people can say that their whole circle just kind of got sober, but I will say that there are some people that I used to hang out with that I don't hang out with anymore because they don't know how to have fun without drinking. So there are people in your friend group that you might have to say bye to. There are some friendships that might have just been there for that season of your life when you were in active addiction, and you might have to say goodbye to those friendships because they're just not serving you and your new self anymore. So that is hard. That is a hard pill to swallow. That is a hard truth. Some people just don't want to get to know the new you, and they're just going to hold on to that person who was the party girl. And if they're not willing to get to know the new you, they're not willing to have this new relationship with you, they don't deserve a spot in your next chapter. So it's a hard pill to swallow, but some people just don't belong in your life anymore if they're not willing to adapt to the positive life changes that you're making for yourself. Now that I've shared my story, I wanted to share a couple of the things I wrote down about navigating your sobriety alone. Now, if you are going to outings and you were the only person who is sober, people might try to get you to drink. People might give you crap. People might try to make you feel like you're doing the wrong thing for you. Learn your story, figure out your story, figure out what your narrative is, and stick to it. People would offer me a drink. I would say, no, I'm not drinking anymore. And some people would give me a little pushback with it. What do you mean you're not drinking? You're too young to be an alcoholic. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean I saw you drink before? Why can't you just have one? Like, people would get a little about it. You know what I mean? And I would just say, no, I'm not drinking anymore. I decided that this is the best path for me. I don't like who I am when I'm drinking, so I'm done with drinking. Not going to drink anymore. And I would bring something for myself. Oh, I have this sparkling water, so this is what I'm drinking tonight, but I'm not drinking alcohol anymore. It's not good for me. It's not good for me. I don't like who I am when I drink it. I'm not drinking anymore. And be firm with that. Be firm with that and bring something for yourself so they don't pressure you. I've talked about this in like a lot of my episodes that are about celebrations and holidays. Always have a drink for you because people will try to pressure you. Even if you don't think they're going to, one person's going to say like, oh, you're not drinking, and they're going to give you shit. Not to say that to scare you, but there's going to be one person that's like, oh, how about a drink? Especially at like a family function if they knew you as a drinker, you know? So learn your story, stick with it. If you're the only sober person in the group, you got to stay strong. And you have to remember your journey, remember why you're sober, and don't let them push you around, man. Don't let them push you around because you're doing this for you and it's really important. So fuck that shit. If they can't respect that and they can't respect your boundary, that's on them. Learn your story, stick with it. Do not bend for anyone. If you are the only sober person in that party, don't be afraid to leave if people are just being the worst and pressuring you. Leave early. Do what's right for you. But learn your story and stick with it. Be firm. Don't be afraid. And if you're not comfortable being like, hey, I'm a recovering alcoholic. You can just be like, hey, I decided it's not healthy for my mind or body. You don't have to be so blunt about it. I've been pretty blunt about it, but you don't need to be. I'm a pretty blunt person. I don't really have a big filter here. But if you do, and you're a bit shy, you don't want to say that kind of stuff, just say, hey, I'm not drinking right now, or I decided I'm not drinking anymore, and I don't like how it feels, so I'm going to drink this instead. I will cheers you with my Olipop. I'll cheers you with my sparkling water. I brought a non-alcoholic wine. Stay confident in yourself, trust yourself, and stay strong. And don't be afraid to leave early, because if people are being assholes, then you don't want to be in that space. Because why would you put yourself through that? You deserve better. You deserve to be in a space with people who respect you. Which brings me to my next point. Be prepared for a shift in your circle. I have some friends that I don't see anymore because all they want to do is drink and go to bars. I don't see them anymore. Pretty much my whole inner circle does not drink anymore, but there are a couple people who I used to hang out with regularly. I don't see them anymore. I saw 2 of them at my wedding. It was a dry wedding and they were drinking in the parking lot. I don't see them anymore. And they're great people. They're very sweet people, but all they know how to do for fun is drink. So I don't hang out with them anymore because it's not good for me. It's not good for my sobriety. I'm not here to judge anybody, but I am here to decide what's best for me and what's best for my mental health. So there's going to be shifts. There's going to be shifts in your friend circle. There might be people that you see every weekend and you drink and you drink and you drink and you drink. And that is how you hang out with them. They might not know how to adapt to the new you. You might not see them anymore. It sucks. But there's some people, again, I'll say it again, that are only there for a couple chapters in your book. They're not there for the whole story. So have faith that you will find your new circle and your new friendships will develop. Or you will become stronger friends with people that maybe were on the outskirts of your inner circle. There are a couple people who I only kind of knew casually, we like kind of knew each other, and now we're really good friends. Friends shift, circles shift, and dynamics change when you change. So just remember, you're doing the right thing for you, and your friend group might change. And you might have a point where you don't have anyone to hang out with for a little while, and it might feel really lonely, but just have faith that your new tribe, your new sisterhood, your new people are on the way to your life. You will not feel alone or isolated forever. You just haven't met your people yet. I highly recommend, if you are feeling lonely and at home, to look for new people on the internet, be it meetings in person or groups online, because it can be hard. Just remember that even if you feel lonely because your friend group is shifting, you're doing the right thing for you, and that there is a great community out there. There's a great community out there. Maybe you only have one friend that's sober and you don't get to see them a lot. Message them more. Text them more. Do FaceTime dates if they live far away. Try to reach out to the people in your life who understand your story. And if you're like, I don't have anybody like that, Lashes, I don't have anybody who gets me, I highly suggest finding comfort online with different groups. Join a meeting online, be it AA or maybe even find a sobriety coach. You are not alone, and you can get through this. You can get through it, and you will get through it stronger. Another thing that I wrote down, I have like some notes right here, is to learn to love yourself in your own company. This one took me a while because I've always, I never hated myself, but I always felt like I needed to like hang out with somebody or like be on the phone with somebody, or I would just kind of wait around till it was time to hang out with somebody else. And I wasn't really like fully enjoying my own company. Enjoy your own company. Get to know yourself on a deeper level. Find things that you like to do solo and indulge in those things. Be it learning to cook a new dish, that's what I like to do in my free time, or painting, drawing, writing, sewing. Enjoy your own company. Just don't forget that you are special. You are such a cool person, and learn to love your own company. Go on walks by yourself. Go do things on your own. Put on shows just for you that maybe you're the only person that likes that show. I don't know if you're married or if you have roommates or whatever, and they are like, "Oh, I don't like that show." Watch it, you know? Do things for you. Do face masks. Do simple acts of self-care. Get that fancy lavender bubble bath. Just enjoy your time with you and learn how to be by yourself and like being by yourself. I finally am to that point and I like being by myself. It took me a long time. It took me a really long time. I used to hate eating by myself. I like eating by myself. I like being by myself. And that's cool. That's a big step in the right direction for me. I know everyone just talks about journaling now and how everyone should start journaling. I have to tell you guys, my quality of life has drastically improved since I started journaling, and I've only been journaling since January, so it's only been about 3 months of journaling. I highly suggest journaling, especially when you're feeling alone. You've got a lot of sad feelings. Journal, 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 journal. Get all those feelings out on paper. If you're like, I don't want to write with pen and paper, write stuff in your notes on your phone. I do that a lot of times too, especially when I'm on the go. It's great to get feelings out. Those are just a few things that I wrote down that I wanted to make sure that I talked about. Feeling alone is kind of normal when you are getting sober, and it gets better. It gets better, but it is hard. And if you don't have a community in person, it can be really, really hard. I only had to deal with that for a couple months. So, again, I got really lucky with that. But if you are feeling all alone and you do not have anyone in person, I just want you to know that you are not alone. There are so many people out there that are going through the same types of feelings that you are going through, and they're with you. Even if you're not together, you guys are connected in your journey, if that makes sense. And you just need to find those people. Don't lose faith that your people are out there and that you will build connections with other sober friends, and your community will start to grow as you grow in your journey. I love you guys so much, and I never want any of you guys to feel alone. If you feel like you need help, remember there are people out there that can help guide you, and there's always hope. Never give up hope in yourself, and never give up hope in your journey. I don't know if you guys can hear my cats beating the absolute crap out of each other. Guys, Jesus Christ. I just want to say I've stopped filming this podcast multiple times because my cats are being crazy. If you want to feel less alone, get a cat, because they will never leave you alone. That is my number one tip. Just get a cat. Get a cat, because they're not going to leave you alone. You will never even go to the bathroom alone. They're just going to be there in the shower watching you, like literally. But in all seriousness, guys, if you are feeling alone, just know that you are important. Your journey is important. Don't let anyone make you feel like you are less than what you are. You are so important, and what you're doing is so important. I really believe in you, and I'm here with you. We are in this together. I am sober too. And I mean, it's only been almost 3 years for me. Like, it hasn't been 3 years yet. This is still fresh for me too. 1,007 days might sound like a lot, but I mean, compared to like what? My whole adult life, it's pretty new. We are in this together. And I've gotten really fortunate in my life where a lot of my friends are sober, but I don't really hang out with a lot of people if you want me to be honest, like I'm kind of a loner now, and I hang out with my mom and my sister and my nieces, and I see friends once in a while, and I'm not really like a big social person. I am like really like to be by myself, and that's something that kind of changed when I got sober. I really enjoy my own company. I really like being alone. I enjoy being alone. And I love my friends to death, but I just don't go out very often because I like my own company and I like solitude. This is something that changed for me because I did not really enjoy my own company when I was drinking. I like who I am so much right now. I like being all by myself. I like watching my silly shows and I like just kind of chilling with my cats and stuff. I'm super, super into being a homebody and I love going out and performing and being the life of the party and being like that girl. But that's not my everyday life. If you are someone who is more social and needs to be out and needs to be with people, look for a community in your area of sober people. Go to meetings, get out there, find your in person people. There's got to be other people in your town who do not drink. Maybe you just haven't met them yet. Let's say you don't have any sober friends and everybody else that you know is a drinker. Start suggesting activities that do not involve alcohol. Maybe you guys could get coffee or smoothies or lunch and make sure that you say, hey, like, let's not drink. I'm not really comfortable around drinking right now. Be vocal about it, and your real friends will be cool with it. Make sure that you're communicating your needs, and you might be surprised with the response you get from people. Even if it's that friend you always got wine or champagne with, if you're like, hey, let's meet for lunch and just get like a tea. There's a lot of people that you might be surprised with. Just make sure you communicate your needs because if you're not communicating your needs, you can't expect other people to read your mind. The dynamics might shift, but you might be surprised with the response that you get from people because not every single person that I hang out with is completely sober. I hang out with my mom all the time and she will have the occasional glass of wine, right? But when we hang out, we're not drinking because she knows I don't drink. She knows that it makes me uncomfortable. So we'll get coffee or we'll get sparkling water or whatever, but it's not alcohol. And we used to just be champagne buddies. You know what I mean? We don't do that anymore. You might be surprised with how things change for the better. Some things change and they're not so great. Some things change and they're great. So have faith in some people and be patient because it might take them some time to adjust to the new you. But really communicate your needs, communicate what you want with your social activities, and make sure that they are booze free. That is my advice on navigating sobriety all alone. I do want to touch on one more thing while I'm just kind of rambling. I wanted to touch on drinking alone, like not feeling alone, but drinking when you're by yourself. I used to drink when I was by myself a lot. Like when I had the house to myself, I would drink because I was sad. And that was when I would like be sneaky and like hide how many bottles I drank. So navigating that, let's talk about that because there's drinking and feeling alone, but then there's drinking alone, two different things. So let's cover both. I highly suggest when you are all alone to replace your drinking with acts of self-care. Get a new beverage, be it a tea, be it an Olipop, be it like a hop water, something special, something fun, something relaxing. Get yourself something special and do something good for yourself. Do like a really in-depth skincare. Do an exfoliating body treatment. Change into the silkiest pajamas and hop into your bed and just snuggle up with a good book. Do something good for you that doesn't involve alcohol. Listen to a podcast. Watch your favorite comfort movie. Make sure that it's alcohol free and make sure you have something delicious that's booze free to sip on. Because when you are healing and you are so used to drinking something, when you're all alone, it feels weird to not be like consuming a beverage. So get yourself a fun beverage that isn't plain ass water to drink. really practice self-care and be diligent about it. It is hard to get into a self-care routine. It is hard to show yourself that much love, especially when you were not showing yourself so much love in the past. Make that positive effort to love yourself, get to know yourself, and heal your relationship with yourself and your body. I challenge you guys all to do that. I just did a vlog last Friday on self-care, and I did like a whole self-care day. I challenge you guys to do one simple self-care activity for yourself. Being alone and feeling alone doesn't have to be that bad, especially when you are loving yourself. So put some love into yourself. Show your body, show your mind, show your heart some love. Have faith that you will find your people. Have faith that the people that you know will accept you and the new you. And don't be afraid to let go of the relationships that are no longer serving you. I love you guys so much. I'm going to wrap up this episode by saying you are never alone. There are people out there. I'm here with you. We are all in this together. And I'm fucking proud of you guys. Till next week, I'm Lashes Lane, and this has been the Sober Showgirl. Bye. See you guys next week.